Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Fear the Queer.
A show that talks about everything on our gay agendas. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Josh Brolin.
I'm Kyle McLaughlin. Like circa Twin Peaks.
Oh, that's perfect, Kyle McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm.
And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about straight boys. Specifically, I'm in love with a straight boy.
We've all been there.
Yes, I was going to say.
Actually, I mean, we'll get more into it, but I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah. So there is...
Kind of like a gym. Haven't been there in a while.
Yeah. We're talking about straight boys and gyms. I mean, they go hand in
Both things that have done me wrong.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about, like, why is it that queer people sometimes just fall in love with a straight person? Like, why is that? But before we get into the heart of the agenda, Kyle, what are we drinking tonight?
So I'm drinking, you know me. I got my iced coffee. Made it myself.
Okay, this quarantine has gotten so weird. You're drinking iced coffee, no alcohol. Yes. I'm drinking wine. Things have
You
changed.
almost said the time.
I know.
There is no time when it comes to this show. Time is a construct anyways.
Anyway.
Time's a construct, yeah.
Cheers, queers.
Cheers, queers. Clink, clink.
I like your little glass.
Thank you. You know where this is from? Shout out to Pwabic Pottery in Detroit. It is a really old ceramics company in Detroit, like from, I believe, really old. And my friend Julie used to work there. So she used to get like a bunch of great stuff and she gave that to me for Christmas. Nice. It's ceramic. But yeah, the glaze is beautiful. And yeah, Julie said that Martha Stewart likes to shop there when she's in Detroit. So it's that kind of place. It's very nice.
Well, if it's Martha Stewart verified, then we all love it.
Yes. Martha Stewart should verify this show.
That's true. Martha, please get on this.
She's too high. She's hanging out with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
She's like, I got the munchies, and it's a good thing.
All right. But before we get into anything else tonight, we are going to do an updated segment of Why Straight People.
Why?
Yeah. In other words, there are certain things that straight people do that us queer people just kind of go, why?
Why?
Yeah. And
I don't get
about the ridiculousness of it and how they should really try to conform more to what queer people do instead.
Conform!
Exactly. We're the best. Anyway, so today's topic of why straight people are gender parties.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah, it has. Kyle, do you want to kick that off with your thoughts?
Well, why straight people? Why gender reveal parties? Now, here's the thing. I won't be a complete hater, which I understand is kind of my thing sometimes, is to be a complete hater. But this quarantine has changed me. I am much more loving. I am into people just, free to be you and me. If you want to have a gender reveal party, that's your own prerogative. I will not judge you as harshly depending on how you do it. If you're having a baby shower and you're like, oh, it's whatever the baby's gender that you've decided is going to be, okay, well, it's like part of a full party thing. But it's gotten out of control.
Mm-hmm.
As many of you probably know, there is a giant...
There
is a giant wildfire in California that has moved up the West Coast, all because of a gender reveal gone wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, if that's not the universe being like, straight people, stop it!
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, and also, someone died because of it. It's been reported that a fireman just died trying to get some of the fires out. And seriously, like, what is with, like, the whole, like, dramatics of it all? Like,
It's the dramatics.
Well, like, as a queer person, I totally love the dramatics, but, like, it's literally the most pointless thing. It's either blue or pink. Who the fuck cares? It's not like you're gonna have, like, this, like, option of, like, 12 different things that could pop out of the box.
Unless you're Octomom.
Right. And she's just like, there's so many.
There's so many coming out of me. It's just popping out of her like alien.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, I get the excitement of being like, are you having a boy or a girl? But I also feel like it's a little dated in how we've come to understand gender. And I don't know. Like, again, if you like, free to be you and me. If you want to gender your child, whatever. That's the inevitable. But it's weird when it is so big and dramatic. Like, if people are so big and dramatic over revealing a gender, they should be that excited when their child comes out to them as trans or gender nonconforming later.
Right. Very true. Actually, let me go back a step here. I actually don't care about the dramatics of it all, but why are there pyrotechnics like involved with this? Why are there pipe bombs going off, killing grandmas at parties? You know,
right? Grandma doesn't need to lose a leg to know that it's going to have a penis.
No, I'm serious. Did you know that? Like one of the grandmas who attended a gender reveal party last year,
lost
she
a
died.
leg.
No, she died because the pipe bomb that they exploded like got embedded into her, and she just keeled over.
I hope it was worth it. You lost grandma.
I know. It's just like poor grandma. She's just like, I finally get a grandchild for once, and then. Poof.
Imagine that grandchild being like, yeah, so my gender reveal party straight up killed grandma.
Right?
That's what?
It's so bad. And like what? Just keep it simple. Like, what's wrong with like a bunch of balloons being lifted up, or like, I don't know, pulling out a cake and you cut into it and you see like the blue or pink inside. Like,
again, I'm like against. On a personal level, I'm against gender reveal parties. I think they're tacky and stupid. But because I'm trying to be nice, if people want to have them, that's fine. Like, I don't like, it's a free country. I get to wake up and look this good every day. So like, why can't people have gender reveal parties? I saw that, Josh. I saw that little.
Saw what? No, you look great.
Thank you. You thought I was looking at myself in the camera, but really I was looking at you, and I can tell that you're being a shady little. Anyways, this isn't about me. This is about gender reveal parties. Yeah, I just feel like I just don't care. I don't care about the gender of your child. Like, if you get an ultrasound and you're like, oh, there's a penis. All right, well, you can tell your party guests, hey, my kid's gonna have a penis. We're naming it Jimmy. I don't know. Like, I'm just coming up with like a name.
Yeah. Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean. Oh God. We saw a smoked sausage and we decided to name him after the famous smoked sausage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I obviously, I don't, shocker, audience. I can't give birth to a child. Yes. I know, shocking. Yeah, that we know of yet.
Science has come a long way. We never know.
Science has come a long way. But I can't imagine giving my child like a gendered name. It would be like a name that could be like, it could go, it's like genderless. Like Pat.
Xanax.
Or do you say Xanax?
Yeah.
Xanax is a girl's name.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Xanax is gender neutral. Xanax is for everyone.
Thankfully.
Yeah, right? You're going to need a Xanax after the gender reveal parties. But okay, the one that happened in California recently that has caused all this fire. I mean, from the time that we are doing this show, I don't know, has there been any legal steps taken towards the family or towards the people who were, I don't know, setting the forest ablaze? The
last time I heard is that no charges have been set yet, but I definitely think that the whole family should be going to jail for this.
It's embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
Like, imagine going to jail because you burned down forests.
Right. All because you just wanted to have this stupid party in quarantine when you're not supposed to.
Why are you posting about it?
Yeah, why, straight people? Why? I don't get this.
Stop posting that shit. Yeah. You know what? And hey, again, I'm nice. I swear I'm nice. So you can post whatever you want. I will judge you quietly, or I'm going to judge you right now. What I've noticed a lot too is that straight people love to like draw out the process.
Yeah.
Oh, we're pregnant. Everyone's all excited. Oh, there's another one coming. Let's hope it's queer. And then they go from, oh, we're pregnant to, oh, look at the baby booties. Oh, look at the baby onesie. Oh, look at this blanket I knitted. We don't need all of that. And I get it.
Or they take
people's hormones are out of control.
Or it's like the side-by-side photos of like them getting bigger each week. It's like, yeah, we get it. There's a baby growing inside of you. You're going to get fatter. Like,
but sometimes they don't even look, I don't see a difference. And that's not like a body thing. That's just like, it's been a week. Like,
yeah.
It's just a belly. You want to see my belly week to week?
It also fluctuates.
Yeah, it also fluctuates. Sometimes I eat salads all week. Other times it's pizza every day, baby. But I don't understand. They like to draw it out. And then they're like, oh, here's the gender. Here's the ultrasound. And maybe I'm being too harsh. I probably am. But I just, I don't understand. If we have to put up with this, you should be able to put up with us talking about Drag Race.
Right? Or the fact that like none of us want to get married, or the fact that none of us want to even have kids. Like, if we have to sit there and have you force your pregnancy down our throats, then you can handle the fact that Gen Z and millennial gays are just like, not about this right now.
Yeah, and like, don't force anything down my throat. I don't have a good gag reflex. I just think that like quarantine has done a lot to me. But I will say there's a part of me, and maybe it's a small part, but I kind of want to be a parent someday. I know I think I was like having like a, what do you call it? Like a crisis of identity. And I was like, oh, I'm gay. I don't want to have family. Yeah. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, I don't know. I think I'd be a good parent. I think I'd actually be a really good parent.
Sure.
But you say sure like it's not true.
I just said sure.
Why don't you think I would be a good parent?
We'll talk about that afterwards. I have a list.
Do you really?
No.
I would be like, that might be the meanest thing that you would ever do to me. Be like, I have a list of why you'd be a bad parent. And I'd be like,
no.
When did you have time to make that?
I had 25 minutes.
Parent on my own.
Right.
Huh?
I was like, I had 25 minutes yesterday and I just wanted to write all this out for some reason.
You're like sitting on the toilet, just like, Kyle would be a bad parent because doesn't do dishes.
Right.
Is late to everything.
Switches from salads to pizzas all week.
I would say that shows that I have variety and versatility.
Sure. All right.
So judges, I have variety and versatility. Thank you very much. I guess also side note, the amount of like toxins and damage that's been done to this forest fire, because we have a Cheeto in the White House that doesn't believe in any of this, I'm talking climate change. Yeah. Yeah. So where's the urgency behind this? Is there urgency? I feel like people don't have urgency between climate change. And also, lest us not forget that prisons put inmates out on the front lines fighting those forest fires for pennies a day. Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother prison industrial complex. So literally a gender reveal party
is now playing into the prison system.
Has played into the prison industrial complex, has played into climate change, has played into just gender and the conversation that we've been having about it.
And the harm that it causes to force a gender upon your child.
Right.
Basically, why straight people? Why? Yeah. You know what's funny too is that so I was looking up, I was like, when did gender reveal parties become such a big thing? Because they weren't big when I was a kid, you know?
Right.
I looked it up. It was more of like in the later 2000s that it happened. It was the first well-known one was by a woman named Jenna Kravanidis. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I also, like Kyle, I can't pronounce that. But
Hooked on phonics.
yeah, she had a great come around because 10 years later, the gender reveal party that she had for her then daughter is now
Mm-hmm.
a gender non-conforming child who wears suits. And she even is just like, yeah, gender's overrated. Like, I kind of hate that I did this because it doesn't really matter anymore. It's bullshit. So if
Mm-hmm.
she can turn around and be like, we need to stop doing this, I think y'all should take her advice. Just my,
Yeah, it's just it's such a big deal placed on something that isn't even out of the womb yet.
mm-hmm.
It's weird to me. And again, if you're excited about the gender of your potential child, okay. But if that child then later decides, or I guess I should say, realizes that the gender assigned to them at birth doesn't align with who they are as a person, you should be equally excited and, you know, popping those balloons, cutting into the cake. Oh my God, look, it's you know, whatever gender that person is,
Right.
or isn't. Some people don't have a gender, or
Yeah.
some people are both. But I don't see the same kind of excitement. So why, straight people?
Yeah.
Why
Why?
is that?
Yeah.
Again, hashtag not all straights, but it is a
Now,
large chunk.
yes. Now, a lot of queer people have brought this up, and I totally back behind this, is rather than having a gender reveal party, have a zodiac reveal party. Let people know of like the time frame that your child might be born, and you're just like, my baby's gonna be a Sagittarius.
Ooh, so get ready for that one.
Right,
It's gonna have energy.
right.
Yeah, I kind of like the Zodiac one. That's kind of fun.
But no pyrotechnics, like no
Real.
explosions, no bombs, nothing that'll kill grandma. Like,
Don't kill grandma over gender.
right.
I
that
don't
is
understand.
that is the takeaway lesson here.
Don't kill grandma over gender.
Yes,
Please.
it's the least you could do. And now to get into the heart of our gay agenda this week. This time, we are going to be singing a song, I'm in love with a straight guy.
I'm rocking, I'm rolling, I'm rocking, I'm sad because I'm in love with a straight guy.
I'm riding
Yes,
his pole and yeah. So,
that's not happening.
no,
He's saying, I'm playing Call of Duty and my homo friend, you can sit there and watch.
right. Maybe I'll give you a blowjob later. I don't know. Anyway, so
How many straight guys do you know that say that?
unfortunately, not many. So today's topic, we are talking about the straight men who are in our lives somehow, whether by choice or that they're forced into it, and some of the crushes that we might have developed on them over the years, whether it be the fact that we're fantasizing about them specifically, or are we just imagining some sort of way about them?
Yes, I would say I want to put a disclaimer on this conversation. I
Yes.
will say that since I came out and I've come more into my queerness, I have not had a crush on a straight guy, except for maybe one. And the gender or his sexuality may have been questionable,
Okay.
and that's not for me to decide. So, these are more younger crushes that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So to start off, my first like straight guy crush that I can kind of remember, it was the summer of 2005, and I
You were
was at scout
19.
camp. I was not 19 in 2005. I was 40. No, I was 14 going to be 15, and I was a Boy Scout. So holla, you know, at all the Boy Scouts. Fuck the Boy Scouts. Honestly, whole nother conversation. Fuck the Boy Scouts. That's a whole nother trauma. But when it comes to going to camp, I liked camp because I like the outdoors. Also, things that people don't know about me. I actually like being outside. I'm actually kind of outdoorsy. I like camping. I don't like fishing. I almost said I like fishing. That's a lie. I like kayaking. I like swimming. I like archery, all that good stuff. I can cut wood sometimes.
Who knew
You
were
never
such a
know.
lumberjack?
That's why I wore flannel today. See?
Right?
I'm a
Brawny man,
lumberjack.
real
I wear
nails.
flannel. Yes. I can clean you up too. So let's clean up this conversation.
Yeah.
Ronnie, the quicker picker upper. So I'm at Scout Camp. I'm like 15. I'm going to be 15. So I'm like almost 15 because we would always go at the end of June. And every year they always would have people be like, okay, choose a couple of merit badges that you will work on throughout the week. Because we only went for a week. And the camp that I would go to it was a Chicago-based camp. Even though I'm like from north of Detroit,
Right.
we went to the west side of the state.
Okay.
I think around like Kalamazoo, Michigan, maybe. I don't know, but it was considered a Chicago-based camp because Chicago I guess the Chicago burbs would go to this camp. Anyways, so a lot of the people that worked at this camp were from Chicago. And I was doing one, it was called Pioneering Merit Badge. And it was a knot tying merit badge. So already sexy, right?
Did you do it with your tongue?
No, I probably would have just
tie knot with a cherry.
I would have just eaten the rope. I was always so hungry. The food was pretty good. But anyways, this guy, I forget his name because this is over half my life ago. But I remember the feeling. So we're sitting there and it was like me and like one other kid from my troop. I don't remember his name. I know his last name was Bogan. Bogdan? It doesn't matter. If he's watching, hey, I think he was like Mormon or something. No, they were Catholic. Never mind. But we're sitting there. We're learning about the knots. And this guy, he wasn't like the head teacher. He was like a counselor, but he was only 16. He was like around my age, right?
Okay.
And the like head person leading the merit badge was like, oh, I have a lot of things I have to do. Like, I can't just focus on pioneering knot tying. So they would like kind of bounce between, you know, different merit badge things going on, which left this guy in charge. And this guy was so nice. Mm-hmm. And he was like kind of beefy. And we would just sit there and like for hours, like I think I finished like 2 merit badges that summer because I would just like walk there. We always had to walk with buddies. So I'd like grab one of the guys from my troop and be like, come on, we're going to Pioneering Merit Badge.
Just drag him along.
They're like, I have life-saving at 1. And I'm like, doesn't matter. And I would just like take them with me. Or like, I have basket weaving. So we would go and we would sit at this picnic table underneath this like little like tent, like canopy. And we would just sit there and we would just like be like making knots for hours on like long rope. And now I think it would be kind of like cool jewelry, but we would just sit there and talk and talk and talk. And I was like, is this romantic? Like right. What's
what
happening?
Are we?
And so every year at the end of the week, our troop was known as like the cool troop. And they would always invite all of the camp counselors to our, like campsite for a big pizza party.
Ooh.
Every year it was like a thing. Even though there was like 2 other troops at the camp when we would always go, mm-hmm. we always had like 50 people there and those troops only had like 5. Mm-hmm. So we were like losers,
right? We're the best.
There's a bunch of us, but I remember being there, finishing up the merit badge. He like signed off everything. And I was like, so are you coming to like Troop 185's pizza party later? And
like twirling your hair.
Yes. I was like, are you coming to Troop 185's pizza party later? And he was like, oh yeah, I think we're all going. And I was like, oh, it'll be really fun. So the night comes. In my head, I was like, oh, I'll get to see him again. But the night falls, and we're having the pizza party, and he shows up, and I'm all excited because I'm like, I mean, I don't think I realized it was a crush as much as I was like, I have a friend.
Yeah.
who lives in Chicago.
It's like your way of like justifying it. Yeah.
Yeah. And when he showed up, I was like, I went to go say hi, but of course he was with all of his like counselor friends and didn't really care. Like he wasn't mean or anything like that, but it was like, oh, hey, how's it going? But like he's worked with hundreds of other kids this summer. I was just another one who tied knots.
Right.
So that was my first crush. And I'll never forget, this actually stuck with me. And it's not necessarily like a romantic thing that stuck with me. We were talking and he said, I said, oh, so you live in Chicago? And he's like, no one lives in Chicago. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, everyone who said, like everyone here who says we're from Chicago, we're like from the burbs. No one actually lives in the city. And I said, well, that's not true. My uncle lives in the city. He lives in Lakeview.
Yeah.
And
like, shut up,
like,
it.
Right. He was like, oh, well, like not like no one actually lives there. And guess what? 15 years later, I'm still here in Chicago, the city. So
maybe he meant like
on him.
Well, he's like, no one cool lives in the city. You're like, well, I'm here.
So you're right. Yeah, so that was like my first little crush.
Aw. Wait, what was the last time you saw him?
It was just that week.
Oh, really?
That was it. There was nothing else. But like when you're in that situation where all you're doing, like you don't have a cell phone, you don't get to talk to your parents, there's no internet, there's nothing, there's no TV.
Right.
You know, you're sitting in a tent with another kid who like farts at night. I will say, okay, not about farting. This isn't a fart podcast. Anymore. Hey. 2020, I got some Beano. But that is so gross. I'm sorry. like poop and fart jokes, like, who am I? This quarantine had made me into like a dad. I hate it. I need to get out and be like this.
I was gonna say, and you want to be an actual dad.
No! Maybe. I think I'm I'm like the cool aunt.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you really like when you're in kind of the camp experience, unless your parents are part of the troupe, they're not there. So like my dad, he went there a couple of times because he was involved in the troupe. And then through, there was some issues in our troupe. That is a whole nother conversation. Kind of sexual things, but like not directly involving me, but not in like a good way, in a creepy old man way.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the counselors were hooking up.
No. I mean, the counselors may have been hooking up. I don't know. But,
and then Jason's mom just kills him.
No. Oh, I kind of see that makes me want to watch that movie. But so my parents were like never there, so you just kind of like bond very quickly with the people around you. And funny enough, so there was this kid, I think his name was Aaron. He was like the nicest kid. He was like 2 years younger than me, but he was like loud and kind of dramatic. He was really into drama, and he had like a little lisp and like a really raspy voice. And of course, we're like kids, we're like teenagers, right? And him and I always got along. I think we shared a tent one summer. Just super nice. Like no, not like that, Josh, not sexual. Literally nothing like that happened ever to me, which I don't know if is good or bad, because I feel like now I'm making up for it by sitting in my house and quarantined. But Aaron, my sister, this isn't like a call out. I won't say his last name, mostly because I don't remember it. But my sister and I were texting the other day, and we were just talking about how many people from high school or like growing up that end up being queer in some capacity, some part of the LGBTQ plus community. And she's like, do you remember Aaron? And I was like, yeah, we were in Scouts together. Like we actually were friends. And she goes, oh, I went to high school with him and he remembers you. And he ended up being like some big football star, but he was openly gay.
Aw.
And so we were just talking about like how he was openly gay in high school, which makes sense why he stopped going to Scouts, because maybe he came out
And he
and
couldn't go
then
anymore.
yeah, stopped going. But then he ended up being some big football star, which is kind of that's like such a modern teen story of, hey, I'm gay and I'm really funny and attractive, and
Right,
I'm the school's football star.
right. Like, I got kicked out of Boy Scouts, but now I have a football scholarship.
Right. So I don't know. That all happened. I didn't have a crush on him, but Boy Scouts is a whole conversation. That were you ever in Scouts?
No, I wasn't. But what I had to do, like, speaking of like traumatic areas, like Boy Scouts,
Mm-hmm.
I was heavily involved in the Catholic Church growing up because my parents always made me go to like, it was called CCD, which is like Catholic learning, like in order to become confirmed into the church eventually.
Yeah, like a confirmation class sort of thing.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
the Catholic Church made us do it from when we were like in first grade, from our first communion up until
Mm-hmm.
we were confirmed in senior year. So it's just like, yeah. So it's just like we had to like go once a week for 12 years to this group and participate in learning about God, which I never retained anything because I was never interested in it. Even as a little kid, I was like, this is so boring.
That's That's interesting. It
Hmm.
is interesting. I should also say that I grew up. Well, we know this. I grew up Lutheran, but the troop I was involved in was Catholic.
Mm. See, the
Interestingly
Catholics.
enough, so like everyone was Catholic, and we always had to do like um
Why does the Catholic
what do
Church
you do?
always like infiltrate queer little lives somehow? Like
I
it's
don't know.
inevitable.
It's really weird. Not that the Lutherans were any nicer to me, but at least the Lutheran Church. There's plenty of good people. But yeah,
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. So,
When was your first like little crush? Was it early on
well, yeah, I was gonna
with
say.
a straight
So
guy?
it was. So it was the first play that we had to do for the Catholic Church, and it was, I think it was the Easter play. Oh yeah, because it was the crucifixion of Jesus. So yeah, of course it's Easter.
What were you? Were you like
I was one of the 12
on the cross
apostles.
next to Jesus?
Yeah,
You were one of the 12 apostles?
I was the cross. I was just like lay on
You
me.
were the crosser. You're like, nail this body onto me.
Yeah.
You're, how old were you?
So I was in third grade, so I must have been like 9 at the point.
What a hoe.
I know. So uh, I was one of the 12 apostles. I think it was John, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a
And
good one.
yeah, and Jesus was played by a sixth grader. His name was Brandon, and he had very wavy brown hair that kind of like had a wave like mine. And he was a little bit taller. Like I'm pretty sure I was like only 5 foot back then. I'm pretty sure it was like my height, like 5'6". So like he just seemed like this like built guy to me. And I was just like, am I in love with Jesus? Like, like is this
We've
my
all been there.
right? I was just like, do I have a crush on Jesus Christ? Uh, and I didn't know who he was because since he was a few grades older than me, I just knew that he was like in sixth grade. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went home and I begged my mom. I was just like, Mom, where is the Catholic directory book? And she's just like, it's over there. Why? And I was like, oh, I just want to see like our family photo. And I searched every single page. I didn't know what his name was. I didn't know like anything about him. I was just looking through each individual picture, be like, is that him? Is that him? Finally, I found him. His name was Brandon. And um, I kind of knew I had a crush on him, but I didn't want to admit it to myself. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, every time I went to play practice, like I was just staring at him, like recite his lines. And like every time that he would be nailed to the cross and laid down, like I was just like getting emotional. I was just like, oh my God, this is such good acting. And then,
Like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
Academy Award.
right. We never had any interaction except one. And of course, I ruined it for myself. So, being the closeted little gay that I am, I couldn't let him know that I liked him. God forbid. And so,
Literally, God forbid.
literally, God forbid, I would have been kicked out. And I wanted to play John so badly. So, the night of the play, he's in the corner just like by himself for whatever reason. And he's drinking this really big glass of orange juice. And I had to walk past him because he was standing near the door of where like we go on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, in my mind, I was just like, you know what, this is my opportunity. So I charged past him and I bumped into him on purpose and being like, excuse me, and just kept walking past. And orange juice just like falls down all over down his white robe, and he's just like staring at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Your flirting style from third grade is the
Uh-huh.
same as it is when you're 29.
Yes, it is
Because you're
actually.
still like that with guys.
That's
Like, you're
true.
still like, I'm going to bully them into thinking I'm cute.
Right.
Like,
I'm gonna be really mean to you, and that means that I like you.
who are
Oh,
you?
I know. And so I got out on stage. I realized that I ruined the kid's costume, and I just felt so bad because, of course, he's mad at me now, and that's the only interaction we had. And so I was trying so hard to hold back tears on stage,
Oh
and
my God.
I had one line, and all I had was like, "Thank you, blessed be to God," or something. It was something really short and simple. But because I couldn't say anything because I was about to cry, it was just dead silent. And all the boys turned to me and looked at me because they wouldn't want to move on without me saying my line first.
Right.
And there was just a silence of 3 minutes of me just standing there being like,
Oh, God. That's so
so
embarrassing.
I know. But luckily after the Easter play, that was the end of CCD. He moved on to the middle school era, and I was still in the elementary part of it, and I never saw him again. But blessed be Brandon, Jesus Christ, my Lord. Thank you for being one of my very first straight crushes.
It was a religious experience for
It really,
sure.
he really took me to church. Hashtag Hosier.
God, that was good. I like that. I thought you were going to say the only thing that he said to you during the play was like turned to you and was just like, "You're in my light."
No, that would be if you were Jesus Christ.
Which I was Jesus Christ at one point, because we didn't have like drama in my school growing up, but every year each of the classes, like it was like every 3 classes would group together and do like a little musical.
Mhm.
And it was always like religiously based. And every single year I always, like, whenever I would be a part of it, because you weren't always a part of it every year, I always wanted to be cast. I always wanted to be. And it took until 6th grade for them to cast me. And I had 2 parts. Because they were like, okay, we have to divide up Jesus. And they were quite modern. They had like,
Okay.
they and by modern, I mean, they had a girl playing Jesus at one point. But I was like Jesus number 1, which was like the first little scene. And then I got to put on my actual costume, and I was Pharisee number 1. And I was the villain of the show. And I came in and I had like my hands like this, and I walked down the center of the aisle, and I needed no direction. And I came in and I had the little head bopping, and I went like this, like that, with my head bopping and my hands folded. And let me tell you, it brought down the house. Everyone walked up to my mom and dad. They're like, Kyle is so good. Oh my God. And of course my voice was like, yes, I'm a Pharisee. Like, if there's video of it, I sound so gay and so sassy.
You're like,
and
yes.
I'm like, Jesus thinks that he is the Son of God. Well, turns out he's just a man. Like, I was like that.
To be
And
fair,
people
though,
still were like, he's straight.
I was like, to be fair, like a lot of villains are queer and like in a coded way with like that high pitched voice. So I'm pretty sure everyone's just like, wow, he's such a good actor.
I mean, I am, but that was like my first like little thing. And then at church, I got to play Joseph, which was very odd to me because I wanted to be Mary.
Oh, that Joseph.
Yeah, that Joseph. Yeah, not the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Well, that would be perfect with you.
Okay, funny story. I know we're supposed to talk about straight guys, but when I was in 6th grade, my mom was like, we had like, church youth group, right?
Yeah.
And ours was not like that thriving. Like, it just like, it was never like really organized well. It was mostly just people, like a little bit older kids would just all hang out together.
Mm-hmm.
So one time, I forget whose house it was, but someone was like, oh, we're having an All Saints party, because we don't do Halloween.
Right.
So we show up at their house, and they're like, come in, like, it's like a costume party. So come in a costume if you want. So just, it can't be scary. And my mom was like, I'm going to make you a Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Like, I'm going to make you a Joseph coat.
Oh,
And
so cute.
it was like rainbow, like just straight up rainbow stripes all the way down. And I remember the sleeves had like rainbow fish, and like they were like yellow, and like there was like clouds and water and stuff. And I show up looking gay as hell. And and other kids are not dressed as biblical characters, because I think we were under the impression of like, oh, it's a church event, it should be biblical.
Right.
And I show up looking like, the Six Village person, and like, oh, he's from the Bible. And everyone else is like, a scarecrow or like a cat. And I'm like,
you're like, any
what is going on here?
dream will do.
I had to explain so many times to the older kids, because they're like, wow, that's a really gay robe you have on. And I'm like, I'm Joseph. Thank you. Excuse me, I'm Joseph. And I remember like being very insecure because we were in the basement, and for some reason they had on what's that movie where he's like the son of the devil? Remember that movie? Is it like Little Nicky or something?
I was like, The Omen?
No. It's like a funny movie, like Little Nicky with like Adam Sandler, maybe?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember. Audience, if you know what it is, please comment or DM us, because now I'm having a brain fart and I don't care to look it up. But anyways, we were watching that and I'm like, this is anti-God. I was very scared.
I can't handle this right now.
I can't handle this. Yeah, I didn't really have any other like crushes on straight guys until like post high school, because I was always like, with a girl in high school. I was with the girls.
With the girls.
I was with the girls.
Yes, I do have a girlfriend. I have 12 actually, and we're going shopping.
And we're going shopping. Hot Topic, Rue 21, Forever 21. We're not 21. So, when I lived in Michigan, I worked with kids for 2 years, but I wanted to get out of that because I was moving here to Chicago. And this is like 10 years ago. And I decided I was going to get a job at Forever 21, which I still loved the job at Forever 21. Everyone who worked there was super cool. Well, not everyone, but like 90% of the people there were super cool. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed it. So there was this guy, and I don't recall his name, and he was working, and we were hired on the same day. And he was so, okay. So we're standing there, and I remember the person who hired me, his name was Brad. He's so nice. And after he hired me, they immediately were like, we're going to put you as a cashier. And I thought that meant a good thing. Yeah. But basically it meant I don't know enough about the store layout to work the floor.
Okay.
But I'm good with talking with people. So we'll put him on cashier, which I liked, because I could be like, do you want to add a camion for $1.90? Yeah, I think it would look really good underneath this poncho.
Right.
Yeah, I'll get you a cream one. Yeah. Oh, check out the nail polishes. $1.75 for that hot pink. Just add it on. Like, I was so good at that.
Do it.
And I really enjoyed the job. It was really fun.
It helped that you had a little knife with you too. Like, it just like...
Right, I was like, do it, stabbing
do it.
I really enjoyed it. I was really smooth. But there was this guy, and we started the same day. And I was working the cash wrap. He was working the men's section. And at Forever 21, as probably a lot of, RIP Forever 21, brick and mortar stores. But a lot of retail places, if they're corporate and have cameras, they're constantly told you have to look like you're always doing something. Like, sure. You can't just like sit around and talk. So when we were slow at cash wrap, I would like walk over and like pretend to fold clothes. Mm-hmm. And I saw him and I was like, oh yeah, we were hired the same day. And I forget his name, but like I said something about like, oh, I really like that shirt, like that he was folding. And he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to buy it after work. And we started talking and I was like, oh, he is so nice. Found out that he was like into film. And at the time I also was into film. So we were like, we connected on that. And I was like, okay. And I honestly couldn't tell if he was straight or not. I was like, he dresses well.
Mm-hmm.
He's cute as a button. So we friended each other on Facebook, and I'm like scrolling through his photos. He used to do boxing. I swear, I need to find him, and I cannot remember his name for the life of me because I probably black. Yeah, boxing.
Pew, pew.
And oh my God, it was so hot though, because his pictures,
yeah,
it's just like him like shirtless and boxing shorts and like gloves. So then I go back to work.
Raging
and I'm
Bull
all like,
realness.
oh my God, I was into it. I was just like, hi. So
Right.
I didn't know you like boxed. And he's like, oh yeah, I used to do that. So then I had the impression that he was like much older than me, because I was like, wow, you've lived this entire life.
Right. I was gonna say, how old is he?
We're like the same age.
Oh.
Like the same age. So the Forever 21 crew, they were always really good about like, we would all hang out like after work and stuff, whether that was like going to the movies, or a lot of people would just be like, hey, come over and we'll just like all hang out. And I was not used to that kind of like friend group necessarily, because like all my friends were like, I mean, I would hang out with friends, but it was like much smaller. It wasn't like big house party type things.
Sure.
But they would have that because they could. So I remember going to one of the house parties, and I see him there, and I'm all like, you know, butterflies. I think he's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has like big brown eyes, good eyebrows. It just, oh God. And he dressed well. You know, he had like the skinny jeans, and he would wear like a low cut like t-shirt, you know, like the ones that American Apparel, also rest in peace,
Mm-hmm.
would sell, and then he'd have like a loose like hoodie over it.
Is it because
Oh my
the cut was so low? Like, is that
The
why?
cut, yes,
Is that why both stores went out of business?
I know, right? The cut was always like, the cut of his t-shirt was so low, and I was like, oh God.
It's like this.
And
Yes, it's like an over the shoulder.
Just like yours. It was over the shoulder, basically. Like, you know, I will slip a nip, as Jenna Maroney said at 30 Rock. But so I'm at this party, and I'm kind of hanging with the girls, and there was like, and I wasn't out at this time at all. I was very ambiguous about my sexuality. And there was like another gay guy who worked on the the cashier area, that like, I think I had like a little bit of a crush on, now that I think about it, but like I didn't realize it. So I was like talking to him and his sister, and because his sister also worked at Forever 21. Everyone did. And I'm watching, and the straight guy I have a crush on walks in, and he walks in with two people. One's a girl who's so pretty. Her name was Jessica. And see, I remember her name, but I don't remember his name, because I remember her name because I was like, I need to end this bitch. And she was so pretty. She was like an actress, a model. Like, she was like very pretty. And you know what's worse? She was so nice.
Of course she was. She
was like just the nicest person. So they walk in together, and she also worked at Forever 21. And I was like, okay, that's weird. I don't understand what's going on there. But then he brought in another one of his friends, which I do remember this guy's name, but I won't say it out loud. It's a very interesting name. We'll call him G.
Okay.
And he comes in, and he had just started working at Forever 21. So I think he was kind of like, oh, hey, come and meet the new group. So in my head, I was just like, okay, so if he has a girl with him, then who's this guy? So I started talking to G, and G was also, you know, straight for what I can tell. So then I developed a little bit of a crush on him too. But I didn't know it was a crush.
So now you're in a triangle.
Oh my God. But then they became like really good friends, which made me jealous, because I was like, I want to be good friends with you. And I remember one time, oh my God.
I want to be your friend.
Josh. This is so sad. One time, G and I had the same lunch break at Forever 21. So I was like, he goes, hey, did you bring lunch? And I was like, no, I'll probably just like get something at the food court. And he was like, I'm going to go to Taco Bell. Want me to get you things? And I was like, sure. So then we went and we sat outside on the stoop, and we ate potato soft tacos together. And he was also an actor. And I was just like, wow, G is so nice. Maybe G is better than that other guy. And I forget the other guy. I'll find him on Facebook, and I'll send you pictures of him, but I cannot remember his name for the life of me. But here's the full story, okay? So G ended up moving to Chicago a year before, or no, I'm sorry, a year after I moved here.
Okay.
We never talked. We never hung out. We follow each other on Instagram. So if he sees this, I'm single. But then he moved back to Michigan.
Wait, you follow each other now?
Yes.
So I could find him on your Instagram?
G and I follow each other now. I'll send you a picture in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you a picture of G, not the other guy, because the other guy I just am friends with on Facebook.
Okay.
So he moved to Chicago. We never hung out. We were supposed to, right? I think he worked at another place, another retail store. And then he ended up moving back to Michigan and became friends with a girl that I went to high school with that I was friends with. I know, they both worked at Urban Outfitters.
Does he just go
Early
to every,
2010s was an interesting time. We were all like Tumblr indie kids.
I was like, do you just go to every hip store at the time? Just be like, I work at Urban Outfitters now.
A little bit. I never worked at Urban, but I do think that early 2010s was a moment. Like I was listening to Crystal Castles, Future Islands. Like I was Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. I had a felt fedora.
Oh my God, I would have made fun of you so hard back then.
Bitch, I would have made fun of you. I'd be like, where's the style? Where's the fashion?
How'd you tip your hat?
This is only milady.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't wear it like that. I'd always, how they would wear it on the back of their head.
Yeah.
Like the hat that you have now.
You
have that little black hat.
It's not little, it's huge.
Well, I don't know why I said the little black hat when, it is a big black hat. I don't know why I said little.
Yeah. It's a boat hat. It's like one of those things where you go on a boat with.
Right. So super long story short, never hung out with G. He's really into Electric Forest and stuff like that, like music festivals and things. And the guy I originally had a crush on, who all those years ago came to that party with Jessica, they're married and they've been married for 3 years.
Oh my God, really?
Yep. They are a very attractive couple. Oh my God, I just remembered his name.
What is it?
Matthew.
Oh.
I don't know why that was so hard for me to remember.
I don't know why I'm thinking as if I know this person. I was like, Matthew.
I know a lot of Matts, but yeah, that was a Matt that a straight Matt that I had a crush on. Yeah, he was so nice. I'll send you pictures later and you can be like, oh yeah, no, you have good taste.
So what year was this around?
It was 2010, well, let me think, 2011. It was the summer. No. It was the summer of 2011 because I turned 21 in August. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of August, I moved to Chicago. So literally I had been 21 for 2 weeks before I moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
So I hadn't been drinking because that wasn't really my thing. I never really went to parties. I never mingled with the straights.
Yeah.
And Forever 21, if you were straight at Forever 21, you were I was cool with you because I was, you're working at fucking Forever 21. Right. You can't be a homophobe and work at Forever 21. It doesn't work that way.
No, that's fair. That's interesting.
But yeah, no, I wasn't out. I actually ended up, I didn't come out more officially until the winter spring of 2012, March 2012.
Okay.
Is when I officially came out to my friends and my mom, and then it was just a slow but sure process. And half the time I just didn't come out. It was oh yeah, Kyle is dating so and so, and it was well, that's a man.
Yeah.
And then we just
It's interesting where our lives are now, considering the fact that we hang out all the time, and where we were 10 years ago, because 2010 2011 I was moving to my first year of college. So my girlfriend and I, of 4 years, broke up, and I moved to University of Iowa. And
for a fresh start.
Yeah, for a fresh start. I was still closeted. I was closeted for 4 more years after that. But they assigned you a dorm roommate. Did you ever have a dorm roommate at all? That you didn't know?
Briefly, when I moved here to Chicago, I lived in student housing downtown, and I
Okay.
went to Columbia, so the student housing was super nice. And I had four roommates, not including myself, so I had a lot of roommates. But I only shared a room with one other person, and he was super nice, very into the show Lost, and never left the room.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I didn't. He was fine.
So I had uh, a, an, a very nice straight guy as my roommate, but I was incredibly intimidated by that at first because it's just like, you're living with a straight guy, you're kind of like figuring out your queerness at the same time, and you're just like, like I don't know if I feel comfortable around this guy. Is he gonna make fun of me? Like, is he not gonna like me? And am I gonna be miserable this entire time?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say his name. I'll call him CC, I
I
guess.
like that I start name dropping.
I know.
So
Well, just because like we actually like I still have him on Facebook. I think we're still on Instagram with each other and stuff like that. So I
you're
don't
like,
know.
we still text all the time.
Well, actually, like he'll know by this point. It's his name is Corey. So at first I was incredibly intimidated by Corey because he was a bro, like he was part of a fraternity. He had all like his guy friends come over from time to time to stop in the room and like hang out, and like they're all just like, oh hey, what up man, like stuff like that. And
I
like
hate it.
I know. And I'm over the corner just like, hi, like I'm just watching my movie, bye, like trying to be
I'm just watching Devil Wears Prada. Don't
right.
mind me.
Like I was just like, how do I make myself like as asexual as possible, because I can't pretend to be straight around these guys, but I can't be gay either. So I have to be this like weird nobody.
You should just hiss at them, just like a cat.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa,
So
he's a freak.
yeah. So we had to spend 9 months together as roommates. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get along with him eventually. And I realized like very quickly on it, I was just like, oh, actually no, he's really nice. He's very, very polite, very accommodating to me. He asked me if he wanted to, like, if we ever wanted to like hang out sometime outside of our dorm and stuff like that. And I'm not used to straight guys being so nice to me at that point, like
Mm-hmm.
because the straight guys in my high school I all hated. And
I'm
so
still not used to straight people being that nice.
yeah, so I was just like, uh-oh, like we share a room together, and he changes in front of me, like, uh-oh. Like, and so one night, him and I we decided to really actually bond to get to know each other, and we drove out to get fast food together. And that night, like we just kind of were like just talking about like it was Wendy's. We were just talking about like,
I
oh,
was like, we wanted to bond, so we went and got fast food together. I was like, that's how you bond with Josh.
it is, it really is. Like if you are down for chicken nuggets with me, we're good.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So then we just started talking about like his life, and he has a gay brother, and that's why he was so nice to me, because I'm pretty sure he probably could tell I was gay. And then that's when he dropped the hint that he had a girlfriend for like 2 years. And I don't know why, but I got so pissed off in that moment.
You didn't start crying, right?
No, I luckily I didn't freeze up and forget my line. But I just remember I was just like, oh, okay. And I kind of got like quiet for the rest of the night. I was just like, oh, okay. I don't know why I got jealous. It's not like
Were you just like, then what's the point?
yeah, I don't know like why. I don't know.
What are we doing here then?
I don't know what logic went through my mind where it's just like, wow, fuck you for having a girlfriend. I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Well, I get that. That's like me with the Forever 21 guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't like upset, but I was just like, how come you have a girlfriend? You were
Yeah.
so nice to me. We talked about fashion.
Right. I know, like with
Straight
Corey,
people don't like fashion where I'm from.
I know, like with Corey, I was just like, what? Like we watched The Dark Knight together. Like that didn't mean anything to you.
You said I was your little Joker.
So stupid. So so I never got to meet the girlfriend. And then eventually the year ended. We moved out. I got an apartment by myself, and then I think he went to live at his fraternity. But I would see him from time to time around campus because we were still there. And one day I ran into him, and his girlfriend was with him. And by that point, like, luckily,
It was a mannequin.
yeah, it was a man. No. Luckily by that point my crush had like resolved, so I wasn't a bitch to her. But like if I would have met her when I had a crush on him, I'm pretty sure I would have been like, oh, hi, and like pushed her. But yeah, unfortunately, he actually still lives in the Chicago area. He
He lives
now
in the Chicago area?
I don't think I'll ever see him. He has a wife and he has a child now. And unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever be ready to be someone's wife and have a child. So I guess, it just was never meant to be. So, you know.
It's I okay. It was hard for me to think of guys that I've had, straight guys that I've had crushes on,
Mhm.
because it was really hard, because straight guys, like you said, were always not the nicest to me.
No, also, I forgot. Sorry. I forgot about this part because it's a little not safe for work. But I
So
remember,
turn it off, mom and dad.
yeah. So I remember at this time, this is like, you're away from home, you have like the internet access to yourself. Sometimes your dorm, you're like by yourself. So this is really when I really started to explore like gay porn. And I remember at the time, I would search a lot of like roommate like
Stop!
scenarios.
Stop it! Not the roommate porn.
Yeah. And I just remember specifically there was a scene where it was just like it was a dorm late at night. The straight guy walks in and he's just like, oh man, like my girlfriend just like gave me blue balls, like she wouldn't like she wouldn't finish or whatever. And he's just like, man, fuck women. I'm so by myself. And the gay guy's just like, well, I'll blow you.
Stop.
And needless to say, that fueled my fantasy with Corey for the time being. I hope, oh my God, I really hope that if he ever listens, he won't be so grossed out by this.
I never was sexually attracted to anyone I have lived with.
Uh-huh.
So,
Wow, your mom's really insulted by that.
she shook.
Yeah.
No, that is, I mean, okay, I get that roommate fantasy though, because like it's like the fantasy of not necessarily like living with the person, but it's like, will they or won't they? Are you into like what, like you're like trying to read,
Yeah.
and then it ends up being what you thought it was. And it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, okay, I get that. I get that. Yeah, no, the person I lived with, not attracted to. I wasn't attracted to any of my straight roommates. And yes, they were all straight, and it was really sad. It was literally him, I'll call him B, who was like kind of a loner. And then there was this other guy, I forget his name, and he was like nerdy. He was like short, red hair, kind of nerdy, and he was like 10 years older than me.
Okay.
So it was like his like he was going to school for film after already having like a degree in business or something. So he was really nice, and we always talked about politics together. And then there was this other guy who was like really short and had like really big bushy black hair, and he was always like high or drunk or something. He was a graphic design student. And one time I came home, and we had 2 bathrooms in this student housing. And one time I shared a bathroom with him, and he locked himself in the bathroom, and we could hear him like throwing up, and then we heard nothing. So I was in my bedroom, and when this was happening, and I get a knock on my door, and it's the political guy, and he's like, hey, can you come here? I think this guy's name was Dan. I think Dan is like sick or something. So we go to the bathroom, we're like knocking on the door, like, hey, are you okay? Because he sounded like The Exorcist was coming out of him.
Yeah.
And like a demon. And then we heard nothing. He locked himself in the bathroom. And we were just like, all right. Like, and then the other guy, his name was Brad, and he was like 6'4", ex-military, long, stringy, greasy hair.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to make horror films, and he was obsessed with guns. So needless to say, I only lived with them 6 months.
I was like, oh God.
And then I moved in with my queer friend Brandon, so that was nice. But yeah, Dan was really odd. I remember I also hated him because he wasn't necessarily mean, but he was a moron.
Mm-hmm.
And he not only did he lock himself in the bathroom, pass out, and we all thought he died, but at one point he also was just like a hairy guy. Like he had a big black beard, big bushy black hair. He was just like hairy. and the shower was clogged. And he's like, oh, all the shower, like the shower's clogged. It's like someone's hair. I think it's your hair, meaning me.
You?
My hair, yes. And because my hair has been kind of like, you know, a little wavy like this. This is actually more like the cut that I had when I first moved to Chicago, where it's like short, like an undercut sort of, and like wavy pushed off to the side. Except now I have a fade. But I was like, I, you know, Dan, I don't think it's me. I think it's you. Like, I was like trying to be diplomatic, but also like I was freaked out.
Because he has long hair, right?
Yeah, he had like long dark hair and a big beard. I'm like, that hair in the shower is clogged because of you. And he was like, no. And he's like, I think it's just right if you clean it out. And I was so shook. And so I so I think I've told the story, but I'll tell it again. Like, late one night.
Sorry.
Are you remembering like this story?
Yeah, I was just like, now it's coming back together, yeah.
Yeah. So late one night, you know, everyone had their own dishes in the apartment. So I went and I got the cup that he always drank out of, and I went into the bathroom and I scooped the like clogged water out of the tub and like unclogged it with his cup. And then I just put it back in the kitchen, and then the next day he was drinking out of it like nobody's business. I'm thinking, I was like, fuck you. Like, don't you dare. I had to get out of there. I hated it. It was so bad. But that's just because like I never, like, straight guys, I don't know. For the most part, I grew up with a lot of, I mean, I had straight friends. Like, you know, when you're a kid, you go to like sleepovers and stuff like that, and birthday parties, and I was in
Sometimes
scouts.
you kiss, you know, no big deal.
That never happened to me. Although it is really weird because like when you're a kid, I was like, you know, you say like very no sexualness. And you go to these like sleepovers. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time waking up and someone's bare ass was in my face. And everyone was laughing. And I was like, why is his ass in my face?
Yeah.
You know, I fell asleep watching Austin Powers. And I woke up to that. And or like another time that this one kid, he like took all of his clothes off, and his basement, like it was like the staircase went down the middle, and so it was like one big circle, right?
Oh, sure.
So I was like sitting on the couch, and there was like 4 or 5 of us, and it was the kid's house, and he got completely naked and just ran around the basement. I'm thinking, why am I the one being called a faggot? Like, I don't understand this homo eroticness.
Like, straight men do really weird gay things together, but it's like totally normal for them.
It's really odd. Like, I was just like, again,
like when they teabag each other, or like when they like punch each other in the balls, or like when they like.
So weird. Yeah. And I'm sitting on the couch, completely clothed, fat as fuck, just like, don't look at me, don't touch me. Like, I was so weird, but they all thought it was funny.
They did.
I don't know. Yeah, it took me a while to try to think of straight people that I've had crushes on, because straight men are nightmares. And the ones that I do have crushes on are always like gay friendly.
Right.
Like, do you remember William, who worked at
from the bar?
Our job. Yep.
Like, very briefly, because he quit right when I started. So.
Oh, okay.
But he was
this guy.
He was the muscular bartender, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He was like the only attractive bartender, male bartender, I should say. So he I
was like, Jill is like coming for you right now.
I know. Friend of the pod, Jill Conkle's like, fuck you. Yeah. She's like, how dare you say that you won't sleep with me? Don't worry, Jill. No, I'm not saying that. But this guy, his name was William, and he was like kind of like, he was flirty with everyone. And he started working there, and he was a good bartender, and he was muscular, and his shirt was like a little bit tighter than it probably should have been. And I'd always get like a little tongue-tied talking to him, so I just ended up not talking to him for a while. Mm-hmm. And then one day he was like, hey, do you know how to make the chicken in the oven? Because like we sell chicken, you know? And I was like, yeah.
Like, maybe.
I was like, I can do that. So it was like so easy. It's like you put the food in and you just like press the numbers and it comes out a few minutes later. So I show him how to do that. He's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I go back and I'm talking to our friend Matt, and I'm standing there. We're standing at the cashier area, and we're talking. And William walks by, and he has his like basket of chicken. And he walks by and he goes, "Hey man, thanks for letting me know how to make this." And I go, "And no, I make good chicken." And as soon as it came out of my mouth, I realized how stupid I sounded. I make good chicken? What is that, a selling point? Like, hey, I'm sexually attracted to you, and I know how to push a few buttons and make some chicken fingers in an
I
album.
know how to do a turbo fried chicken.
I know how to do that, baby. But he was just so attractive, and I was always like jealous. Eventually, I started talking to him because I realized he was just a big weirdo, and I was like, "Oh, he's so cute." And he'd always like talk about like the girls that he was seeing, and I was like, "But the guys you're seeing."
What about
The
them?
guys you're seeing.
Talk to me
Like
about
this
them.
yeah, talk to me about them. Yeah, this was the last straight guy that I had a crush on. So this was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember one time we went to our coworker's baby shower, which you did not come to. And
Who was it?
Kat, do you remember Kat?
I didn't know Kat.
I don't even know if you worked there.
No. And you didn't come.
I'm like, you didn't come to a party that you were not invited to. How dare
like,
you?
I don't know her.
Audience, this is Josh just being rude. He's not showing up to parties he's invited to. He didn't give to the baby shower gift. Oh my God, full circle.
Right?
Baby showers.
See, because I knew ahead of time
Yeah.
this, like, this is gonna be a huge gender reveal fiasco, and I'm not gonna be a part of this.
I mean, it was okay. Like, Kat didn't really, she was like, "Oh, I'm having a boy," but it wasn't like a gender reveal thing or anything like that. So we're outside because we had to have the baby shower outside, and she's not drinking, so it was like a BYOB situation. And I'm sitting there with some of my coworkers, and I'm sweating. It's like 95 degrees, and I'm like so upset. I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like, this is ridiculous. We're just like awkwardly all sitting there. And then William shows up. And he shows up with a fifth of Jack Daniels. And he's like, "Oh, I brought something to drink." And I like don't drink whiskey, but I was like, I will drink with Will. So
I will unhinge my jaw for anything Will gives me.
Yeah, I'm just like, but he was very cute, very attractive, very flaky. So 3 things I love.
Was he a Libra?
I don't remember getting his sign.
He sounds like a
he
Libra.
he was just like he might have been a Gemini. I can't remember.
An air sign.
I could never figure out his age. I didn't know where he lived. He said he was staying with like friends in Boys Town. I was like, okay.
Ooh.
But then one day he just stopped showing up to work.
He found out.
He found out what?
That you really don't make a really good chicken tender.
He said, "Kyle, you don't make good chicken."
Yeah.
No, Will was so cute. And like, I remember one time he like had our friend and coworker, he was like, they were talking about abs or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, I don't have abs." And he's like, "Oh, I have abs." And he took our friend's hand. This is probably not like work appropriate, but like where we work, it's very like everyone, it's, it's okay. And he took our friend's hand and he's like, "See, feel them." And he had him feel his abs.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
You're like, "My turn."
I was like, "I taught you how to make chicken."
Yeah.
Hello. But he was
You just
so
like
nice.
run over. You're just like, "Please."
I was like, "Let me feel abs too. I don't know what they feel like." Oh my God, this reminds me of something. Here's another straight guy. I didn't have a crush on this guy. I did not have a crush on him. But we're talking about like early 2010s.
Sure.
And moving to the city and art students, and I was very into like the indie Tumblr thing. It was like the natural progression of me being like a scenester like emo kid to being like the like emo Tumblr like indie kid. So it was just a natural progression.
Yeah.
So my friend, I don't know if I should say her name because I don't know. My friend that I'm still very good friends with, she had a crush on this guy who was the lead singer of a band.
Okay.
And they were like pretty popular. Like they played like the Beat Kitchen. They played a bunch of venues here in Chicago. And I like didn't understand the crush necessarily. I thought he was super nice. He was a Libra, or he is the Libra. But she had a big crush on him, and he was always very flirty with her, as Libras are. And so I would always go with her to all these random shows that would be like, you know, hither, dither, and beyond. Like there were some shows I didn't even know what part of the city we were in, and it ended up, oh my God, there was this one time we were at this place, and it looked like it was like formerly like a strip club that was now like a bar. And I'll never forget, I have no idea where we're at. And her and my other friend, they found him. We'll just say his name was Alex. They found him, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm going on in like a half an hour. And I was like waiting with our stuff, like at a table. And he's like, I'm going to go smoke in the car. Do you guys want to come with me? And they left me by myself to go smoke marijuana. And
the marijuana.
The Satan's cabbage.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there just by myself with the coats, with a, you know, vodka soda, just like, all right, they should be back soon. Yeah, they should. And then I found out that they came back high, and I was like really annoyed
What'd you expect?
What? That they would be sober?
Right. Like
No, I would, and they go, well, we knew
that they would pray for their sins.
I'm just saying. But I was like, I was more upset because I was like, you didn't invite me with you guys. And they go, but you wouldn't have partaken. And I go, I still want to be included. I still want to like be a part of the group. Because I knew this guy too. Like we, you know, like he wasn't a stranger. He, you know, he had a band, and I saw him like 8 times play live. But that time, as everyone was leaving, you know, he was like, oh my God, thank you guys so much for coming to the show. And like my half drunk, like PBR in hand, I'm like, oh, hey. And I go to give him a hug, and I gave him a hug. And then I realized why he was so solid. Like he was like kind of shorter. Yeah. But like built, like muscly, but he always wore like loose fitting, like flannels and t-shirts. And then I gave him a hug, and I was like, he's like a rock.
I was gonna say,
like you could feel his
nice
oh my God.
Yeah. I like that.
I was like, girl, I get it now. Yeah, he was so sweet. Now he lives in Brooklyn with a girlfriend, so I guess I just piggybacked off of like another guy. I didn't really have a crush on him, but
it's just like all these straight guys like are now married or like have significant others. It's just like, what could have been?
And they still call my name when they come.
Do they?
Kyle! They're like, sorry, I'm having flashbacks. It's like war.
Yeah,
it's like at Forever 21. It's like, oh God, it's Nam.
Yeah. Because I remember, and this is the last straight guy I had a crush on. Okay, I have to mentally prepare just in case, because I think that him and his wife may listen to the podcast every once in a while, so this is going to be some tea here for them. But
oh my God. Well, maybe they'll invite you into the bedroom. Wear a mask. Oh, wait, you're dating someone. Who am I?
I mean, who knows? Who knows? We never know. So, you know, you and I both went to film school. I went to University of Iowa, and I took my very first like actual fiction filmmaking class, meaning like it wasn't just like learning how to do a camera, learning how to like write a script. It was like you do it all. You actually produce movies in this class. And there was one guy in particular who I was just like, oh, he's kind of cute. Like, he kind of like, he had like a nicer like built chest, and he always wore like tight t-shirts that like kind of showed it off. I was just like, oh, okay. I like that. Nice eye candy. But we never talked. And then one day we actually got assigned to do a project together. I was like, oh, great. And I'm not the best filmmaker by any means. Like I totally will say like behind the camera, I suck. Like,
and you make fun of me. Like the truth comes out.
I know. Well, I mean, we've seen your work, Kyle.
And it works, right? The work I've had done on my face, I haven't had anything done. Anyways.
So the first interaction that we really had was the fact that we had to come up with that idea with a little film project together. And we come up with this story and was just like, oh, cool. I was just like, I know a place where we could shoot this. Like, let's think of here, let's meet at midnight. We could shoot it like in the dead night. No one will be around and yada, yada, yada.
That sounds so
And
spooky.
yeah. And I just remember I was just like, yeah, it'd be cool because like we could do your camera work and everything. And then he just turns to me and looks me dead in the eye. And he's just like, no, you're going to be shooting this too. Like in a very like authoritative, firm, like dad kind of way. And I just melted. I was just like, oh.
That's attractive to you?
Yeah, someone who bosses me around, you know I love that shit.
That is my nightmare. I do
But
not like to be bossed around.
I know, that's where we're complete opposites. Like,
I don't like to be bossed around. I like someone who, okay, I don't like to be bossed around. I like someone who's like, I know you're secretly a mess. And I'm like, love me. And then they do. And then I'm like, okay, that's what I like.
Yeah, see, the bossiness.
They know I'm not as tough as I actually am.
That's exactly why I like when people are bossing me, because they like see through me. They're just like, okay, like you're not the leader of anything. Like you're baby. Like you're gonna do what I say for once. I'm like, okay.
See, I still don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like being told what to do. It makes like the very thought just makes me want to grab the cup and unload the shower again with that guy. Don't tell me what to do.
So I had another case of jealousy with this guy because like we took our class together, you know, the semester ended and we actually got close enough where like we were friends outside of it. We would actually hang out outside of class together.
You would go to Wendy's.
Yeah, we would go to Wendy's. Yeah.
You go bond at fast food.
So his girlfriend lived in Des Moines, Iowa, and we lived in Iowa City, Iowa. So that's about like a 2-hour difference. And he told me, he was just like, yeah, his girlfriend was studying abroad and she finally came back to the city. And it's just like, yeah, like I'm really excited. I finally get to see her. And of course I'm just like, oh, I see. Your girlfriend's coming back. Okay. Remember all the fun times we had together? We saw Guardians of the Galaxy together. Like, and you're gonna tell me that your girlfriend's coming back? So
he's like, listen, Rocket Raccoon.
So the entire summer, of course, like we don't see each other anymore because his girlfriend came back into town. They obviously want to hang out.
The restraining order.
Yeah. And then he tells me that he's moving 2 hours away from me. And I was just like, oh, cool. Like, I was just like, another guy gone. Bye, I guess, you know, like tears like falling down my cheeks.
Single tear.
Yeah. And then we didn't talk to each other for like 2 months. And I was just like, well, you know, by that point, it's just like, okay, maybe I'll find someone else. As if like I never had a chance with him. But then he messages me out of nowhere. He's just like, hey, there's this 48-hour film festival that's going on and I want to like put a team together. Do you want to come together and like meet up and we can do it? And I was just like, yeah, fuck this. By that time I had a full-time job and I was out of school. I didn't sleep the night before, went to work, drove.
Oh God.
Yeah, drove straight there after work. I think I only had like an hour of sleep and I showed up like bloodshot, dehydrated. Like, it was only because I wanted to see him so badly. It's just like, hi, what do you want me to do? I missed you so much.
Oh,
I know. It was so sad.
And he lives here in the city?
No, he lives in Iowa still. But
oh, okay.
I'm
mixing people up.
No, I never told him how much I had a crush on him, and we still talk every once in a while. And
well, here it is.
I was like, I think cat's out of the bag. Like, if you're watching, sir, and you know who you are, I had a lot of feelings for you back then. It's Kyle. Let's just say it's Kyle.
It's me. Hi. You know, we're talking about straight guys. I'm like, hi, it's me. No, just kidding. Yeah. Why do we do that? Well, okay. Here's the thing. A couple years ago, I saw like a meme, and it was like, gay men, stop lusting after straight men. Start loving yourself and have crushes on other queer people. And that was like a couple years ago. And it kind of hit home for me because I was like, yeah, why do I have crushes on straight people? I don't even like them. No offense. No,
I agree.
Like if you know me, I'm like kind of joking, but I
have a theory.
What's your theory?
So I read an article about like why gay men lust for straight men. It's because straight men are the leads in every Hollywood romantic comedy.
So it's like all we get to see.
Yeah, it's all we get to see. We romanticize the idea of what a straight man actually is, even though no straight man actually is that way. And you don't see gay men in a lead. You don't see femme gay man as a romantic interest. You don't see trans gay man like as a love interest either. So
Mm-hmm.
all we're stuck with is like Matthew McConaughey and Brad Pitt, and we just put the ideas of like that movie is on these, hate to say it, average straight guys who really aren't that amazing, you know? And we're like, you could be the one. On top of that too,
It's
it's like
weird.
on top of that too, it's forbidden fruit, you know what I mean? Like it's a sense of
Yeah.
like we'll never get them, so that makes them want us more. So
It's yeah. I mean, I will say that yes, we've both talked about straight people that we've had crushes on, but honestly, I've never felt like I had a chance in any of these situations ever.
really?
Ever. I never felt like it was ever a thing. It was always
Oh
just kind of
God.
like it was always like oh, you're kind of like, you know, like little crushes. And I will say this, back in 2012, when I first moved to the city,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be really ambiguous about this one, but I met someone who identified as straight, and I just thought he was just so cute. Just like
Oh, I know.
a little, like, everyone calls him the Frog Prince because he has like really big eyes and like a really big smile. And I just thought he was just like the cutest. And we were like friends, like, you know, hung out, we'd get lunch together, go to parties. He invited me to his birthday. And he, for all intents and purposes, was straight. And I had such a crush on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I didn't include him in the larger conversation about it is because like I had a crush on this guy to the point where I remember sitting in my apartment and my friends, Brandon and Cassandra, just being like, who knew him too, like, or knew of him, because I would talk about him all the time. I'd be like, oh my God, look at this picture. Isn't he cute?
Yeah.
Look how creative he is.
I mean, you
He's
still
so
do that
creative.
with me.
I know, because I still think he's cute. And they were like, Kyle, he's straight. Kyle, he is so straight. He's straight. And I just kept being like, he's not straight though. Like, I just know he's not straight. And it wasn't me being like hoping for him to be queer. It was just kind of like, I just got a sense. I was just like, there's some, like, we were talking about like ex-girlfriends at one point together. And I was like, so girlfriend, okay. But then I was like, an ex-girlfriend, currently not seeing anyone. Okay. And then like 2 years later, he came out as queer. So what do I always say?
I'm always right.
I'm always right. I'm always right. My intuition is on, bitch. And so, yeah, he's queer now and he's seeing someone and I'm working through that.
If only you had met in 2020.
I feel like if we were both, because I wasn't necessarily like out when we knew each other, like when we first met. I honestly don't think that we would date now.
No?
No, because I think that we're two different people.
Sure. Okay.
I still want to be friends, like better friends, because I haven't really hung out with him. I mean, obviously with quarantine and everything, but the last time I saw him was like us meandering down, you know, the streets of Boys Town drunkenly, and we're both like, hey, hey, and I was just like, oh my God, there he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's still very cute. He's still very talented. But yeah,
Well, one day, maybe. You never know. You never know.
I think everything's going to happen for me by 35. I've
Yeah.
said this for like the past 10 years. I have a theory that, and I don't know why it's this gut feeling, that everything will fall into place career-wise, love-wise, everything's going to fall into place when I'm 35.
Okay. So you missed that mark 7 years ago. Okay.
I don't like, if I, wait, how old would I be? Is that 42?
Yeah.
I'm so
Good.
bad at
I was
math.
like, good job, Kyle.
I'm so bad at math. If I'm 42, oh my God. Speaking of people who don't look their age, there's this person I follow. He's not straight. He's definitely gay. Josh, yes, you look 18. We get it.
Thank you.
But there's this person I follow on Instagram, and they just posted that they turned 40. They look so good, and like we're not like friends or anything. Like we follow each other and like each other's stuff.
Mhm.
But when they recently had their birthday and they turned 40, and wanted so badly just to be like, congratulations on looking like 15 years younger than you actually are.
Or it's like Todrick to Tatiana. Congratulations on your face. Like,
right. Like
yeah.
the mug is right. Like
Right.
he looks fantastic. I was like, there's no wrinkles.
Aw.
It just like, I don't know what it is. I think maybe he sold his soul to the devil.
Which
Which
I
like,
would do.
nope.
Well,
The
one of us
Bracken.
will. Okay.
Yeah, you
So,
can sell the soul to the devil, but
question for you. Like,
yes.
so I do agree with you that I feel like now that I'm more queer and like openly queer and like embrace my queerness, like I don't think straight crushes really happen anymore. So I'm just like, I'm wondering though, like if it has anything to do with like being closeted, or if it has anything to do with the fact that you might not be comfortable enough with your queerness yet to accept queer love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Especially, I would say, especially with the Forever 21 crush, because what? What? You're laughing.
Just the title of it, Forever 21 Crush.
The Forever 21 crush. I know. Because I don't know. It's weird because like I definitely had a crush on him, but I like again I knew it wasn't going anywhere. I knew that it was never going anywhere. And there were people who were queer that worked at Forever 21 that I recognize were flirting with me, were like, being cutesy with me. But I was like not out or anything like that. So I just kind of like shut it down and like compartmentalized it into like that's not happening either.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they were perfectly cute and adorable and funny. Like why I don't know. If I was out, I probably would have like dated them.
Right.
But instead I was like, I also think sometimes anytime I've had a crush on a straight guy, which again, far and few between, queer people are better. Sorry, straight men.
It's true.
But
it's very true.
But anytime I have had a crush on a straight guy, it's also kind of like I want to be your friend. Like, at least for me, I'm like, yeah, maybe like a little bit of like I'm sexually attracted to you, but also I want to be your friend. Like, yeah. I think you're cool, like a cool person. And I don't know how to reason out that I'm also sort of attracted to you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, there's like this weird thing of like wanting to be accepted by them. Like, and the fact that like straight men usually are the ones who like bash us and like murder us. And
yeah.
and and so you're just like, oh, please like me. Like I should, I'm a good person, I swear. But now that I'm queer, like I almost like look down upon a lot of straight men. I'm always just like
100%.
I'm just like, yeah. I don't need you. Like, go away. Like, you know what I mean?
It's so weird. Totally. I think like we seek validation, and because our society
because we can't validate ourselves yet.
We can't. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Can I get an amen?
Can I get a frack man? Yeah, fracking. RuPaul's not paying my bills. I'll say what I want. So
someone's not going to be on World of Wonder anytime soon.
World of Wonder can kiss my ass if they like to, because they can always have us on a show. That's fine. I love you. No, I don't. Yeah. I don't pledge allegiance to anything, including the flag. I don't pledge allegiance to the flag. I only pledge allegiance to this fag.
Ooh.
Hey, ring me up a poll. Hey, hustlers. Pull a J-Lo moment. But I think because we seek validation when we're in the closet, and because our society is essentially run by cis hetero guys, we look to them. So anytime that we kind of have like this person is actually a cool one, like he's not complete garbage and he's not mean to me, you want him to like you.
Right.
But yeah, now that I'm 30 and just like it's been years since I've looked at a straight guy who is, I'm straight. And I've gone, last one was William with his chicken tenders. And I knew it wasn't a love thing. I was just like, I like him.
You just like his abs.
Wasn't he attractive? He was a very attractive man.
I don't even remember what he looks like.
He was like probably my height.
Also no.
He was, what? Is that short? I'm like
kidding.
5'9".
I'm kidding.
Is 5'9" like the average
kidding.
height? Why are you so hateful? You are so mean to me.
Kyle's spiraling right now.
I'm spiraling. Just say I'm the May Queen. I'm running around the pole. But he was the last one that I was like, oh, I have a crush on him. And any other guy that I maybe have had a crush on, whether I've said it out loud to friends or just like thought it in my head, they end up being queer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like they either come out or
yeah.
So I haven't had like a straight crush since like a decade ago.
No. And I feel like now if I did have a crush on a straight guy for whatever reason, like I feel like it'd be a lot easier for me to dismiss it. Like I'd be like, ugh, like this is just infatuation. Like goodbye, you know, like
right.
I'm gonna go dancing.
Like there's like a handful of like straight guys that I know that I'm like, oh, you are very cute. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. Also very gay friendly, because if you're talking to me, you must be gay friendly.
Right.
You're like down with the gays. But I'm also like, honey, please, I'm not trying to like fuck you. It's not that. Like I don't it's not a sexual thing. Just congratulations on the face.
Yeah. Or the body. Either one.
Yeah, can we make that like a thing? Like, can it be a non like aggressive thing to tell someone like congratulations on your face or congratulations you have a nice body, when it's not like a sexual thing at all? Can we normalize that, or is that like we can't do that?
I think we can, because I have one friend named Adam who is a personal trainer. Like,
oh, muscles guy.
Yeah, muscle guy. Yeah.
Yes,
and like I compliment him all the time on like how attractive he is, and like, but it's nothing like I'm attracted to you. It's just like
right.
It's just like, good for you, sis. Good for you. The fact that like you are a thirst trap. Go on and do your thing. You know, like
I totally get that.
Yeah, and he's totally receptive of it. He's just like, yeah, thank you.
Gay friendly.
You know? Yeah, exactly. So more men need to be like that, I think.
Yeah, like straight men, like we just spent the last bit of time discussing how we've had crushes on certain straight men. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't want to be with a straight man. I never have wanted to be with a straight man. I'm not trying to have sex with you. I don't want to make out with you. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
He doesn't even want to do that with queer people, really.
That's true. I'm just like, please. I don't know why I went into full like elephant Dumbo. Congratulations, I can like do that on, repeat instantly.
One more
time. My face goes, that's so funny. I love that.
It inflates.
Yeah, listeners, if you are listening to this via podcast, go to our YouTube, because I'm making a face. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just congratulations. And also straight women, anyone, just everyone, I think in general, congratulations. You're all beautiful and you're all attractive.
Right, exactly. It's just like, regardless of your sexuality, if you are a sexually attractive human being, good for you. Work that shit. Start an OnlyFans. Do a Snapchat premium. Do whatever you can to be that thirst trap. I don't give a fuck. I don't know.
I actually have this, it's a little bit of a theory. Not a conspiracy theory, but a theory.
Okay.
That, oh God, I sound so like hippy dippy, but I believe that every person in this
that
entire...
you can
fly? No. Mm-mm. No. We're not, no. He's canceled.
Yeah,
He is
very canceled.
Okay. That actually caught me off guard. I think that every person, and again, hippy dippy, I believe everyone is attractive. Like, people, regardless of like, if you're like, oh my God, I like, if someone's like, I'm ugly, I'm like, guess what? Someone's going to find you attractive. And also, every person I meet, there is something attractive about them. Mm-hmm. That even like physically or personality, like, so never think that, oh, I look like this, or oh, I act like that, or whatever. You're attractive, mm-hmm. regardless. So love yourself. People will love you. And I don't know what's wrong with being confident in that. Like, own it.
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to be this muscly thirst trap or this size 0 or like have a Kardashian booty. And if you do, that's fine. But you don't have to do that. Like, just like, you're hot.
Yeah. I was
Like,
gonna say,
I probably, like, we are both hot people.
thank you.
I was talking to myself and myself. But we are both hot. No, I'm kidding.
You meant that guy. You meant that guy.
Yeah, I'm talking to the guy behind you. Yeah. No, no, but like, I think that like, like, I am not thin. I'm not muscular. I'm pasty white. I'm annoying. And I still look in the mirror every single day. And I think everyone should do this. I look in the mirror every single day and I go, good for you. You're cute. So you don't need straight validation to have that.
No, exactly. No. All you just need is to have a little bit of confidence in yourself, and maybe that straight crush will just then be like, bye, I don't need you.
True. And I will also say it does help that I'm on medication. So that also helps to feel this confident because without it, oh, honey, please, I would be in bed crying right now. Like, I'm going to kill myself. But
so a little bit of confidence and a little bit of prescription drugs will go a long way.
Yeah, it all works out. Yeah. But yeah, just love yourselves. You don't need straight validation unless you are straight and you validate yourself. Mm-hmm. That's fine. Yeah.
All right, Kyle. So that was a great discussion. Where can people find us?
People can find us on Instagram at Fear the Queer Podcast, on Facebook at Fear the Queer Podcast. We've been much more active since coming back, which is great. We always do little discussions. We do little surveys on Instagram every Friday. We have the Fear the Queer Friday surveys. Mm-hmm. So join us there. Where can they listen to us, Josh?
They can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or SoundCloud. All you have to do is search Fear the Queer Podcast, and we are the only people that show up. If there's another podcast out there that's also called Fear the Queer, we got it first. That's all I gotta say.
We should join forces if there is. There could be a lot of queers to fear.
Unless they actually, like, literally mean fear the queers.
Oh my gosh, like they're anti-queer.
Right.
Do you think people think, like, when they see our name Fear the Queer and then they see that picture of us behind you and they're like, look at those two cis hetero guys. They hate the gays.
Right.
Do you think they think that?
This is a hate group right here.
That's a hate group. Look at that. Look at that eyebrow and that sassy little hat. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And if you're watching us right now, you know that we're on YouTube.
Yes, you can search us on YouTube. If you're listening, we are youtube.com/Fear the Queer Podcast. And check us out because the show is now part of a new branding era that we're trying to go through. Because we're now confident enough to show our faces.
It's so funny. Okay, so when we first started this, have we ever talked about this? When we first started this, Josh was like, I think that we should like film ourselves, like record it, like make videos and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm not putting myself on. I'm not putting myself out there. No,
sis.
That was like, what, 2.5 years ago that we were even discussing it. And here I am, 40 pounds heavier, 2.5 years older, and more louder, more queerer. More queerer. So stupid. Mokoba. And I'm like, let's just put it on YouTube. Hell, everyone's doing what? Mokoba. Hi, are you Fear the Queer?
Like, welcome to Fear the Queer.
Welcome to Fear the Queer. Well, we talk about everything on our queer agenda.
And as always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Coyle.
And we are Fear the Queer.
Fear the Queer. Ooh. Boy, you know that I had a speech impediment growing up? You know that, right?